Check. Does the mic sound okay? It's doing a weird thing on here. Let me know if the mic sounds alright. I'm gonna keep talking if the mic doesn't sound good. If the mic doesn't sound good, you guys let me know. Domingo. Hola. Yeah, I want Alex Bregman too, Domingo. Robert, how you doing? Robin. Brent, how are you? Moose. Sound guys, how you doing? Joseph, how are you? Fenway Red. Christian, Fanatic, Giga, Purely, Jack, King is in the building. Daniel, Shane, QB, Karan, Jack, Eric. Watching Corbin twice in a day, and yet you're here, Eric. You must hate it. Mark, how you doing? Must hate yourself, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. A little quiet on the mic. That might be. If I turn it up anymore, I'm going to be maxing out the volume. It's going to sound like I'm talking to a walkie-talkie. I guess I can turn it up a tiny bit. Music is hella. Yeah, I'm going to turn that off in a second. There you go. Now the music's off. This shirt is ginormous, by the way. This shirt is ginormous, and I realized that as I was walking in the stream, so it looks like I'm swimming in it. Whatever. What's up, everybody? How we doing, folks? Is this a Red Sox channel? No. So we weren't planning on doing a live stream this week. I figured with Christmas and whatever, we'll do our regular live streams. After that, we'll get back on track next week. But the Red Sox, they made a move today, folks. They made a move today. We broke it down in a video earlier. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun. We'll do a little bit of a shorter stream, hour and a half tonight. Break down what it means. Mr. Matt, how are you? Lexington. So we're going to break down the Walker Buehler stuff. We're going to break that down, what it means. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what I would personally like to see the Red Sox going for. Some of the things maybe that we're possibly kind of hearing a little bit, right? We'll talk about those as well. And then we'll hop off for the night. Sound good? What up, Arlen? Stu, how are you? Red Sox channel? LOL? I'm glad you were able to put the pieces together for that one. Yes, we talk Red Sox every day but Sunday, and we do one of these lives every day, but we do one of these once a week, I should say. You don't see why some people don't like it? I think there are two ways to look at it. I don't know where Robbie found it, but he has the quote. What quote? What quote? He probably has some inside information. Robbie gets some inside information once in a while. Yeah. So let's get into the news, shall we? I feel like Bregman's coming down tonight or tomorrow. I'm behind. Behind on what? Or Toby, you're confusing me today. You're confusing me already. If Walker were to leave, at least it's this team. I like it. Did I see the Cora quote? So I saw the Cora. Toby, I put out a video 45 minutes after he signed, brother. You can go watch that one if you want the most up-to-date news, if you really, really want to. Let me check Robbie. Because I saw Alex Cora did an interview, but he did it in Spanish. Alex Cora says the Red Sox are good with pitching. Now they're looking at right-handed hitting second baseman. So that's what they're saying. So that's clearly, I think, Bregman, right? I think that's Bregman. I don't know. Yeah, Arlen. Oh, okay. There we go. Right-handed bat who's the second baseman. Yeah, I mean, you do have to be here, Toby. There's absolutely no possible way of you to leave. You are sitting right here in this chat, whether you like it or not, for a full hour. Not a chance you are doing anything else. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. Yeah. So I want to start with sort of the ramifications before we get into talking about all this stuff about Bregman, which we can talk about. We definitely will. I do want to talk about the ramifications of signing Walker Buehler because I think we need to go over those a couple of different things that we need to go over with that. The first one is it pretty clearly takes him out of the running for any other starting pitcher on the market. I think that's sort of the vibe everyone's been giving off. Right? I don't think they're still in on Burns. They're definitely not still in on Burns, actually. I can guarantee that. They certainly aren't in on Nick Pivetta anymore. I don't think there's any real big trades on the horizon in terms of like a Jared Jones or something. I think this is sort of their rotation from here, at least to the deadline. We'll see where they go from there. The other thing I think it does is it protects Tristan Casas. I don't think this is at all anything, right? I think Tristan Casas was getting floated out in trade rumors. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the only way they were going to trade him was for a frontline starting pitcher. Well, they got him. Well, they got two, really. They got one, and then they got a guy who could be, and I think Walker Buehler. So I don't think they are going to trade Tristan Casas at all. Cora did an interview in Spanish only. That's very disrespectful. Brother, what's disrespectful about that? He was doing it in Puerto Rico. Right? Of course he did it only Spanish. He was getting asked only Spanish questions in a Spanish-speaking country. Yes, he was talking in Spanish. I don't think that's a problem. No lefties in the rotation. They might look at that. Maybe I could see more of maybe they trade for a lefty prospect. Right? I just don't see them really going for a I don't really see them going for a left-handed starter, at least at the major league level, right? So I think the first big impact this has is that I think the Red Sox have sort of set their rotation. I honestly, if we dive into it, I wonder if has Fangraphs already updated their rotational outlook on the Red Sox? Let me take a look at that. Fangraphs. Let me just see if they already have Walker Buehler slated in here. I wonder if they wait until that's official. Oh, no, so they do, yeah. So here's what they have right now. I got to tell you, well, obviously it would help if you guys could see it. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Okay. All right, we're going to not do Fangraphs because for some reason Fangraphs just crushes my computer. It's like the only website where I cannot stream and do it with my computer. So I think I could pull it up on X. Someone did a graphic. We'll do that one instead. I think I bookmarked it. Let me see. Yeah, I did. So here's what the projected rotation is going to look like. I got to be honest with you. Hold on. Let me pull it up so you guys see what I'm talking about before I go on this rant here. I gotta be honest with you. I sit here and they say, well, Lucas Giolito, Patrick Sandoval, and Garrett Whitlock are expected to start the 2025 season on the IL. I don't know if Lucas Giolito is going to start the season on the IL. In fact, from what we've heard, it sounds like he's not, right? It sounds like Giolito is going to be good to go at least the first couple of weeks into spring training. Or I'm sorry, into spring training and good to go for the regular season. So I don't know what or why Fox Sports is projecting Lucas Giolito to be on the IL. I also thought Garrett Whitlock was supposed to be ready as well. Maybe that's something that changes a little bit. I don't know. I got to be honest. Looking at this rotation, man, there is a ton of upside. Yeah, Garrett Crochet, we talked about him. We've talked about him 100 times. I'm gonna spew a little bit more. You're talking about a guy who could potentially be a top 10 pitcher in baseball next year, right? I think you're talking about a guy who could be a top 5 pitcher in baseball next year. That's kind of exactly what you could expect from him. Tanner Houck was an all-star. He went through that bad stretch in 24 for like 3 weeks, and then he ended up being an absolutely fantastic overall for the year, right? You look at Walker Buehler, and we broke it down today in today's video, which was, by the way, on time. Walker Buehler over the last couple of years, and I think one of the big things to remember, specifically as Red Sox fans, what's up, Wes, is, we look at a guy like Walker Buehler over the last 2 years, and they say, well, wait a second, this guy can't be good. He's had a bad last 2 seasons, right? 22 was bad. 22 was average. 24 was not good, right? He didn't pitch at 23. Well, he must have fallen off a cliff. My response to that is take a look at Chris Sale, right? The Red Sox let go of Chris Sale. They said, look, this guy's fallen off a cliff. We're going to get Von Grissom. We're going to get someone here with 6 years of control. And we thought it was the right move at the time. A majority of Red Sox fans sat there and said, this is going to be the right move. And I still think Von Grissom's an athletic player that can help out in 24 or 25 and beyond. That's not the point of my rant. My point of the rant is we all thought Chris Sale had fallen off this cliff. In fact, Chris Sale was just trying to relearn how to pitch in Major League Baseball again, right? There's a difference between being able to throw your stuff at the right angles and the right velocities with the right movement, and then remembering how to pitch in a Major League season over a full Major League season. He remembered how to do that. He went out there and won a Cy Young. Now, I'm not saying Walker Buehler can go out there and win a Cy Young, but we've seen what his ceiling looks like, right? When he pitches a full season, boy, oh boy, does that look fantastic, right? Like a sub-3 ERA or a low 3 ERA. Again, I'm not saying you should expect Cy Youngs from Walker Buehler, but I think you can expect that more realistically than not, he's going closer to that upside than he is that floor. And I think, if you could get a sub-4 ERA from Walker Buehler, you're in a really, really good spot. Brian Bayo, we talked about him a ton, right? I still have a ton of faith in Brian Bayo. I think he's going to be a really, really, really solid player. Cutter, I don't really know what the Red Sox do with Cutter. I don't know what the Red Sox are going to do with Cutter, to be honest with you. Because, again, you look at it, and they put a 6-man rotation here. And I think with Buehler, you could start having a conversation about a 6-man rotation. You can start talking about, do they do 6 people in the rotation? Even without Cutter, I think they could do 6 people in the rotation. My only fear with a 6-man rotation is it takes an arm out of the bullpen. And last year, the bullpen, our biggest problem with the bullpen, or their biggest problem with the bullpen, I know some people don't like it. You sit here, and the bullpen got absolutely torched last year. It got absolutely crushed. And the reason for that is because it got overworked, right? Guys started to break down, and you just didn't have the depth to cover the breakdown. You taking someone out of the bullpen to put them in the rotation, sure, it helps these guys like Crochet, Buehler, Giolito, whatever, right? But at the same point, you got to ensure that bullpen's good to go. I'd rather have these guys going every 5 days instead of every 6 days if it meant having a healthy bullpen throughout the regular season, instead of every 6 day, but the bullpen get crushed by the end of July. I don't love that idea. So then the question becomes, what do you do with the bullpen? Or what do you do with the rotation, right? Because now you've got Crawford, Fitz, Priester, Dobbins is real close. Dobbins is a name you guys got to watch out for. And obviously you've got Giolito. I don't know if there's a package. Maybe they move off of a Bregman, a Teoscar, and they move towards Nolan Arenado. Maybe they have a conversation with the Rangers. Someone floated out the idea. I can't remember who it was today. Maybe the creator of our thumbnail, at say Don Rafaela or Rafaela Enjoyer on Twitter, floated out the idea of Adolis Garcia. I don't think I saw anything like that. I haven't heard anything. That hasn't been rumored about anything. There's nothing out there about it. But that's an interesting name to throw out there. I don't know, right? It's an interesting conversation. Do you keep this much depth? Or do you put Cutter Crawford in the bullpen and say, look, that's how we're going to create our bullpen, right? Because now Cutter becomes a long guy. Whitlock becomes your high leverage righty that you've been looking for, right? You talk about the Jeff Hoffmans, the Kirby Yates. Well, Garrett Whitlock could kind of fill that need if you push Cutter Crawford into the bullpen and use him as sort of your long relief option. Then your depth in the rotation becomes more of the Fitz, Priester, Dobbins quality, which again, I still think is a pretty decent floor, right? If Brian Bayo goes down 3 weeks into the season and Priester, Fitz, Dobbins, Criswell, if those guys come up and they fill your needs, I think they could do a pretty good job. Right? I think they could do a pretty good job. I don't know. I don't hate that idea. Tanner Houck the 4? No, I don't think Tanner Houck's the 4. Tanner Houck's the 2 here. I think the rotation. Oh, Steven, yeah. Steven, no. I think Tanner Houck's the 2. I think it's going Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Brian Bayo, Giolito / Cutter, whatever. Whatever they end up working. So I don't know, right? That to me is the second biggest sort of implication here with the Walker Buehler stuff is now that we've got the rotation sort of, at least the pieces laid out on a table, it's about kind of figuring out where they go overall, right? Yeah, I sit there with the Crawford stuff. Does that, in my opinion, it does 2 things. Well, actually, really it does 3, right? It's either you're going with a 6-man rotation or you're going to do that 5th spot. You're going to make that 5th spot maybe every other week you do a 6-man something. I don't know. You've got a couple options there. 2, you either put him in the bullpen and he becomes your long reliever, and then you sort of move everybody else up and you don't go for another long relief or a high leverage righty. Or 3, you package him. And I don't think that's an impossible question. I think you could see a world where you could package Cutter Crawford and it would still be a really, really solid rotation. You wouldn't have to deal with the bullpen games, folks. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this Walker Buehler stuff. If he and Crochet stay healthy, you aren't going to have bullpen games because even if one of these guys goes down, you've got Fitz, you've got Priester, you've got Dobbins, you've got Crawford, you've got Giolito, right? Criswell, that's 6 options for that 5th spot. 6 options. You've got a 10-man rotation right now, basically, right? I mean, seriously. The other thing I think it does is I think we could put to bed at least for now the Tristan Casas trade conversations. They're not going to trade Casas for another bat. There's really, if you're going to trade him for a bat, there's no point to that, right? Unless you're getting, again, a Vladimir Guerrero Jr., but you're extending him immediately, which isn't going to happen. It's just not going to happen, at least this offseason. Maybe you have an option at the deadline to do that. He's looking for like $450 million. I have no faith the Red Sox are going to do that. I don't like that idea. You were going to trade him for pitching. You don't need pitching now. I don't think they trade Tristan Casas. Wilyer, I don't know what they do with Wilyer, right? I don't know what they do with Wilyer. I have no idea if this is a name that they're comfortable moving for a bat, if this is someone they're comfortable moving for a prospect, right? Do they go out and get a higher, maybe a top 100, bottom top 100, half of the prospect list starter so they could bolster the pipeline? I don't know, right? A lot of these additions are short-term deals. You're going to need them to extend Crochet, but Buehler's probably, at the bare minimum, testing free agency after this offseason. Giolito's gone, right? I know you've got Patrick Sandoval coming in, who's another lefty, but he's only 2 years, right? Maybe you go and you get a starting pitching prospect with Wilyer, but I don't know that these guys are used for a trade for a starting pitcher at this point. I don't think it's going to happen, in fact. I would be willing to bet. I think Buehler move was the perfect move. I just wish they had 2 or 3 options. I agree, right? My ideal contract for Buehler, I've said it before. I think me and you, Versatility specifically, a lot of people have had a lot of conversations about this, but I would have liked the Red Sox to have given him a 3-year deal with an option after 2 years. So you got at minimum 2 years. The problem with that is, according to Ed Hand on Twitter, who's actually pretty in tune with this Walker Buehler stuff in general, said that the reason the talk stalled before the Crochet trade was because the Red Sox were looking for multiple years and Walker Buehler wanted 1 year. And so the Red Sox ended up bending the knee here, and that's what got the deal done, which is interesting to me, right? Buehler feels like the type of guy that's willing to bet on himself. I think it's pretty clear, right? So that's sort of the other implication here is I don't think Tristan Casas, Wilyer, Breo, I don't think those guys are necessarily the top of the trading blocks anymore. I don't know what they do with Buehler. So another question becomes, what's next, right? This is okay. So you add in Giolito to this. You figure out the back end of that rotation. There's 5 guys there. What do you do? Right? What do you do? What's the next move? I think it's pretty clear you need a bat. Right, I think that's very obviously the next step in this equation is get yourself a bat. You've got about, I think it was $14 million. I think it was about $14 million to the luxury tax now. You said you were comfortable going over it. This should be a no-brainer, right? I think there are 2 big options. I think there are 2 big options on the table. I think everyone's either wanting Bregman or Teoscar. I've talked about this 100 times. We'll talk about Campbell in a second because, Mark, I think there's a way you make it work. You work both of it. Tracy, thank you so much for your gifted membership. Can we get some claps in the chat for Tracy being so giving during the holiday season? Thank you so much, Tracy. I think to be honest with you, right now, I'm more on the Bregman side than I am on the Teoscar side, and I think that sounds absolutely crazy to say. But it also kind of does at the same time, right? I think looking at the Red Sox biggest problem, I think Teoscar absolutely solves a lot of the Red Sox problems, right? He's a home run hitter with pull power. He's going to crush at Fenway. He has for his career, right? I just sit there and I say, okay, Teoscar's older. And yeah, the AAV will be less, and the contract will be 3 years, probably not 6, which would probably be Bregman. But at the same time, too, Bregman gives you defense, which you sorely need, which you don't have right now. Bregman gives you less strikeouts, which, again, is big for the Red Sox. He's still going to hit 20, 25 home runs. It's not like Bregman's a low-power guy. Right? He never has been a low-power guy. He's always been around a 20-home run guy. And I think the biggest problem people have with Bregman is the years, right? Oh, Alex Bregman is going to be, he's Trevor Story 2.0. First and foremost, I don't know where people are getting he's Trevor Story 2.0. He did miss some time this year, but he still played 145 games, right? It's not like he played 100 games before he came here. I don't have a ton of injury concerns with Bregman. So he's been, 20 home run guy at least over the last couple of years. I don't think he'll ever be 30, 40 home runs again, but 20, 25 is solid, right? He's going to give you above league average bat. The average is right in line with what Teoscar was going to give you, but with way, way less strikeouts. But I think the big difference is, with Teoscar, in my opinion, you're improving one facet of your team, and that is right-handed hitting. You're not improving the defense. Yeah, no, I don't think Bregman's going to hit better at Fenway. Hey, Metro, don't do that, man. Right? So you sit there and you say, okay, Teoscar's only going to give you offense. That's all he's going to provide, right? He's got a little bit of speed, yes, but he can't play defense, and he's getting a little bit older. That speed's going to decrease, right? Bregman gives you that solid defense that you really kind of desperately need, and you get that home run potential, plus low strikeouts, plus, a pretty decent average. I also think in terms of Bregman or Teoscar, Bregman is an easier fit on this roster, and that sounds absolutely crazy. I know a lot of people are going to bring up Christian Campbell for second base. Oh, he's blocking Christian Campbell for second base. Both these guys are unbelievably versatile, right? If you can make Bregman a solid everyday second baseman, which it sounds like a lot of people are okay with doing that. It's not just the Red Sox that are saying, this could work. Other teams in Major League Baseball are saying, yeah, I could see them doing that. I could see it making sense. If you could make him a second baseman, third baseman, well, now you've got 2 second basemen plus Grissom here with Campbell being able to play shortstop, third base rarely. This guy isn't going to be an everyday third baseman. We've talked about this. We add to the show we go with us in the chat. They're a big prospect podcast. Just interviewed Justin Slayton. Check that out. But anyways, the arm's not great, right? So you could put him at shortstop. You could put him at third base. But you can also put him in left field. You can put him in left field, which again begs the question of what do you do with these guys like Buehler? What do you do with these guys like Masa? I think it's easier to figure out Buehler than it is to figure out Masa because it's much harder to trade Masataka Yoshida right now than it is to trade a Buehler Abreu. And this doesn't need to be a long-term solution. You could put Bregman at second base, and then a year from now, move him over to third base. Rafi goes to DH. Maybe Masa ups his value. You could move that around there, right? Then you could put Christian Campbell, or you could put Von Grissom at second base. You can really sort of utilize the versatility of a solid defensive player. They're going to give you solid... Christian Campbell's a solid left fielder. He has been a solid outfielder in minor league baseball. He will be a solid outfielder in Major League Baseball. You could do all of it. You could do all of it, right? You could have the defense. You can have a little bit of power. You can have a little bit of offense. You could have a little bit of less strikeouts. And you could do it all with just one player, including Christian Campbell. You can move out to the outfield. So I don't know. I sit there between Teoscar and Bregman, and I like Bregman a little bit more than I like Teoscar, and that's a really, really interesting thing to talk about. Why don't you audition Blaze Jordan? Because he hasn't played past Double-A. Right? Yeah, it means you won't play. Bregman's just going to be overpaid. You're going to have to overpay somebody, right? You're going to have to overpay somebody. You're not going to win every single deal when it comes to AAV versus total dollars. You're not going to do it. If you sit here and play the game of the Red Sox need to totally win every single contract, you're going to end up with what we've ended up with over the last couple of years, which is not making the moves you need to make because you're afraid of losing. Teams with big money shouldn't be afraid of losing contracts like that, especially now that you've got more than likely a cost-controlled ace, a cost-controlled number two, a starting pitcher, two solid starting pitchers on a short-term deal, and the rest of your offense is pre-arb, arb, or under contract, right? It's not like you're going to need to be shelling out big money anywhere else. This is the kind of area where you should be okay saying, look, we were comfortable at 26, let's give him 28. And not even think twice about it. $2 million a year is nothing to the Boston Red Sox. That's a drop in a drop of a bucket, right? Why not? Why wait a year? Well, it's simple, Mark. One, what's up, Mike? Happy holidays, my friends. They did spend on Walker Buehler. The reason I don't think they would put Bregman at third base right away is because to move Rafi to DH, you'd have to open a spot for him to play DH, right? Masataka Yoshida is still on this team. You're not going to DFA him. That's dumb. He is still worth money. You don't want to just pay somebody to have a solid bat in their lineup, right? And you're not going to be able to really trade him away right now because he just got surgery. His value's a little bit low. He struggled towards the end of the season. If you wait a year, Masa can build back up that value. He's got less money on that contract, and he's a lot easier to move. So now you take a look at the two of those factors and you say, okay, well, if you can make Rafi work at third base for sure. You won a World Series with Rafi at third base, right? It can't be that detrimental to a team's success. And he was solid last year. The metrics would disagree with me, but I don't know about you guys. There was never really a point in this season last year where I was like, oh my God, there may have been one stretch when his shoulder was really bugging him that we were like, please don't hit it to Rafi. But when his shoulder was, there was never a point in the season where his shoulder was fine, but when his shoulder wasn't terrible, I think we were sitting there and we weren't totally miffed with the idea of a ground ball getting to Rafael Devers. And so I think that's why you wait a year. Do I think the Red Sox are signing any bullpen arms? So that's sort of the other direction you need to go now, right? You talk about, okay, you need a bat, and I do think that should be the Red Sox focus right now. I don't know what comes to the bullpen. I don't know what comes to the bullpen because if you take a look at the bullpen, right now it's fairly solid. It's not bad, right? It could get a lot better. It could absolutely get a lot better. But I think if they were satisfied, especially if they put Cutter in the bullpen, it becomes a lot stronger real quickly. You know what I mean? How'd the bullpen get better? Well, you bring in Chapman, right? You bring in Justin Wilson, who's got some intrigue to him. You add in Garrett Whitlock, who's healthy. You add in Liam Hendricks, who's healthy. Then you add in, again, if you move a Cutter in there, that's now 5 additions you didn't have last year. You've got more depth now that you had. We're going over a couple minor league signings that were made over the last couple of days. Slayton's going to be healthy. Guerrero's going to have a little bit more experience. So you sit there and you say, yeah, I think the bullpen could be better, right? I think the bullpen could be better. It just sort of depends. It just sort of depends, right? I think you get a Jeff Hoffman. This bullpen is really, really solid. Right? You get a bullpen arm like Jeff Hoffman. This bullpen's really, really solid. I don't know if that's something the Red Sox are going to need to do. What are my thoughts on letting Tyler O'Neill go to the O's? I think there are better fits for the roster right now than Tyler O'Neill, so I don't hate it. Sims. Sims is a free agent. He's not on the Red Sox. How badly do they need a right-handed bat? Well, that's sort of the question, right? That's a great question. It depends on how impactful they think Christian Campbell and Von Grissom are going to be this year. That's the big question. Right? Because if they believe that they're legitimately going to be a very, very big piece to the puzzle over the next couple of years, why spend the money on a guy like Bregman or anyone like that when you could rely on these guys, but then you run into question marks. Which again, if you're a competitive team, you don't want those giant question marks, right? Plus, if those are supposed to be the face of your right, if Christian Campbell is supposed to be the next face of your franchise, if he's going to be a star, I don't love the idea of bringing him up here to be sort of the missing piece to a contender, right? Mookie was never brought up as the missing piece of a contender. Xander was never really brought up as that. Devers was never really brought up, right? They had names already established on this team when you bring those guys up. One, it makes it a whole lot easier to transition, but two, it takes the pressure off these guys a little bit, right? It takes the pressure off these guys a little bit. So I don't love the idea of walking into 2025 with a giant question mark. Even if you have faith that Christian Campbell can be a star, it is a question mark. So if you go and you get a Bregman, that's not really a question mark anymore, right? You've got your right-handed bat, and I think that's why it's so important that you go and get one. Does that make sense? So is Meyer ever going to be a major leaguer? Yeah, he'll probably make his debut probably towards the back half of 25, be my guess, Mark. I think this year they want to really put him on a regimen that makes him comfortable staying healthy while also still being able to put on weight. I think they want him to get his ABs in AAA, and there's not really any point if you're going to hold him down there, through the first 2 months of the season to bring him up, lose the potential of a rookie of the year draft pick or anything like that, when you could just wait until August and hold on to that rookie eligibility until 2025 or 2026. So that's probably where I see Meyer. When do I think Bregman will sign? Probably after Christmas, honestly. Didn't they bring up Roman Anthony? Yeah, he'll get up here next year for sure. For sure. There's no world in my mind where he's not up here in the first couple of weeks this season. Honestly, I don't think so. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Gad. So I think Alex Cora specifically saying we're looking for a second baseman is Cora saying he wants Bregman, which isn't a surprise. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. right, Cora's been saying for since basically the winter meetings, he wants Alex Bregman. Right? He wants him. So obviously he's going to go out there and say, yeah, that dude who said he'd play second base, that dude who I love, that's the guy we're going to get him. So at this point, I'd be surprised if Abreu gets traded. I don't think I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm wondering if we talked about this last week, or really a couple days ago, because it hasn't been that long since we were live last. I don't know that Williers market's as impactful as we thought they were. Rusty's been here 7 months. Thank you so much. I think teams are looking at him being like, he's more of a platoon player right now. So I'm curious if anyone would be willing to. I'm curious if anyone would be willing to give up like a legit starting pitching prospect for him. Like if they package him for a pipeline pitcher, becomes our number 6 or 7 pitching prospect. You know what I mean? Like a number 7. Maybe he has a shot at being a top 100 prospect by the end of the year, something like that. I thought Grissom was our starting second baseman. Yeah, Grissom right now I think is our starting second baseman. I really like Grissom. I think he's athletic. I think he's strong. I think he's going to be a really good player in 2025. I just think Alex Bregman's more of a sure thing. And again, I think it comes down to how many question marks are you willing to have going into 2025, right? If you're looking to be a contender, you got to get rid of some of those question marks. And at some point, what are you going to do, right? Some of these guys are going to be. Some of these guys are just going to be question marks. You gotta have an answer for it, and regardless of whether or not that question mark can end up being fantastic, sometimes you got to go with the sure thing. How would I grade the offseason so far? I'd give it a solid B. I think a B is a good place to put it. I think they brought in everything they said they would, right? They went out, they got the frontline dude. It wasn't a signing, it was a trade. You go out, you get an experienced veteran arm who has high potential, who does really well in the postseason. That's a solid addition to the rotation. I don't like the guy, but you get a legit flamethrower, left-hand side, experienced bullpen arm. Those are 3 really, really big additions in my opinion. I can't give it an A because 1, I don't think they're done yet, but 2, they didn't go out, they didn't spend the money they said they were going to, right? They didn't go and they didn't get the Burns or the Freed or the Soto or the big names, right? I think that deducts it a little bit. They still haven't committed legit money to a starting pitcher yet. I think if they extend Crochet and they bring in a Bregman, I give this an A+ offseason, right? I give it an A+ offseason because you're spending the money. You got everything you wanted. You're a legit contender in not only the AL East, but the AL in general. You are, in my opinion, a playoff team. So I don't know. I think that's where I'd put it. All right, Mark. Hey, have a good one. It is absolutely Garrett Crochet, Jack. It's not even a question. Yeah, so that's sort of what I'm hoping, Dill, is that they come in, they say, Garrett Crochet, you're the dude that we wanted. You're the dude that we want here for the next 6-7 years. That's who we're going to actually spend the money on. I really like that. Right? I really, really like that. Because if you're going to extend him and then you bring in Buehler on a 1-year deal, you bring on Sandoval for next year / maybe the second half of this year, although I'm not holding my breath for that to happen. I think that's a really, 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 really good offseason. Even if you don't get Bregman, but you get Garrett Crochet for the next 6 or 7 years, and you up the rotation this year. I mean, think about it, right? Yes, you're losing Tyler O'Neill's home run. I think a lot of people are focusing on that. You're losing 40 home runs. Oh no, what are they going to do? Well, I know Trevor Story hasn't been healthy before, but Trevor Story's coming in healthy this year. I think there's an opportunity there for 20 home runs. Tristan Casas is healthy this year. Hey, that guy could put up 35, right? All of a sudden, there's no issue making up the lack of home runs from the Tyler O'Neill loss. Plus, you get a Roman Anthony, who has the hardest exit velos in the entire organization over Rafael Devers. You got Christian Campbell, who's got some pop, right? I don't know. I sit here and I have no problem trying to figure out where you make up those home runs in this lineup. Chapman closing? God, I hope not. God, I hope not. Why does Bregman on this team with Cora feel gross and dirty? I feel like I like the player, but something feels off about that vibe. That might just be you, dude. Like, the 2017 Astros are way far away at this point, in my opinion. Hey, Corbin, Durant center field, Bregman second base. Yeah, so this is a solid lineup, right? Rafi third base, Casas first base, Trevor Story shortstop, Yoshida DH, Abreu right field, Campbell left field, Wong center, Wong catcher. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty solid team, right? I want Roman Anthony up here as soon as humanly possible. I want Roman Anthony up here opening day. I don't know if it's going to be opening day. I want Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you as well, Snowman. I sit here. I want Roman Anthony in a Red Sox uniform as soon as possible. I don't care what it takes, right? Get him here. This dude is meant to play at Fenway Park. This dude is meant to be on the Red Sox. I don't know, man. I just sit here. What's your opinion on if the Red Sox sign a guy like Cronenworth? I don't think there's any reason for them to sign Cronenworth. I honestly don't think there's any reason for them to sign that guy. He brings solid defense, but he's another left-handed bat. If he was right-handed, maybe, but Johan Duran and Vasquez needs to happen. Yeah, so see, so I saw Play Test, he put that out there. Hey, thank you so much, Aaron, for your donation in November. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I saw them put that out there. I don't think the Twins trade Johan Duran. I don't think they have any reason to, but is that someone where they would consider a Wilyer Abreu for, right? This is why I don't think Wilyer Abreu's name being off the table is truly there yet. I think there could be some moves to be made there. I don't know. Is Anthony hitting more ground balls in AAA going to be a problem? No, because he's hitting those ground balls at 115 miles an hour, right? Those are still going to get through, and he can still lift the ball. Trust me, I watched way too many Worcester games last year. What do I think of the offseason so far? I gave it a solid B. If they can extend Crochet and they can get a deal done with a right-handed bat, I think they do it. $5 super chat from CH, our man. Can we get some likes on that? He says Bregman can get Rafi more breaks from third if you can get more DH nights in. Absolutely. You're absolutely right? So there's another positive. You put sort of tentatively Bregman at second base. You can give him some days at third base. You can put Christian Campbell, Vaughn Grissom, whoever you want over there. Sogard, right? I think people are forgetting about Sogard. Bench bat, fantastic. I don't know. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's absolutely a possibility. Anthony's exit velocity is insane. I was just talking about you guys, Andrew. I was telling everyone to check out your Justin Slayton interview. Really good. Actually, this is a good question to the show we go. How much better is Anthony over Campbell, Andrew? How much better? I'll let you answer that. Yeah, Carl, exactly. It's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have where you're sitting here saying, God, how do you fit this much talent into 9 positions? Right? Because there have been years where it was like, God, where do you find the talent for the 9 positions, right? Now you get, okay, well, you got too many talented players in the rotation right now. You've got too many talented players on the position side of things, so you're looking to add more, right? That's a good problem to have, folks. I don't think we should be sitting here getting angry about this one. My fiance, Jessica, 11 months, folks. Almost a year. Almost a year being my moderator. I didn't miss it, Jessica. I was trying to answer the question right below it because I wanted to get Andrew in here before he left. See if he'd answer a question. Would have loved if we got Brian Will. I'm not going to be super picky. They got a name. What up? What up, Chills? They got a name. The name that should be really good in the Red Sox system. I like it. I don't hate it. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Did the Red Sox get a draft pick too? Gotta wait until Nick Pivetta signs. Just wondering what I think. What I think about what? Oh, there's your answer right there. I also think personally that Roman Anthony's ceiling's a bit higher. Christian Campbell, I think, will be a higher contact player. I think Roman Anthony will be the more, not 30 home runs, but like high 20 home run type guy, almost 100 RBI type guy, right? Big doubles, good defense. Like that's like a legit dude. So I think that personally why that puts, and Christian, I think, could be a guy, right? He could be a guy for sure. He could be a good piece to a really solid team, but I think Roman Anthony has the potential to legitimately be the face of that team. Yeah, Christian Campbell had the best offensive season in baseball, in minor league baseball this year. Wong plays third. Pitching depth, defense, and versatility is the focus of this offseason. Hey, versatility, you're the focus, man. Congratulations. I heard, so Pavetta's gone then? Yeah, Pivetta is not coming back. Thoughts on Abreu? I don't know what OPR banner is, James. Yeah, it's a very crowded depth chart, and I think the Walker Buehler signing makes it even deeper. And I think that was the entire point, right? I think that was the entire point of it. Right? I think that was the entire idea. Load this puppy up to the absolute maximum. Make it hurt, right? Right? Make it hurt. Infield defense needs to improve. Devers needs to move to first base. I still don't love the idea of Devers to first base, man. I really, really don't, especially with Tristan there. I don't think there's any real reason for that to happen. They got their pitcher, right? I think you could put off the conversations of Bayo to first base. Good Lord. Devers to first base for at least another year. Thoughts on Priester's ceiling at his young age and a coach like Bailey? I think Priester has the potential. I've always said this, even when we got him. I think Priester has the potential to be a mid-rotation starter, like a number 3 guy. And I think, hey, happy holidays to you as well, Wrath. Question is, the Red Sox going to have a spot for him when he gets there, right? I don't know. What does a trade for Jared Jones look like? Would I still like that? I don't think they go. I don't think they're going for Jones anymore. I think the dream is dead for Jared Jones in a Red Sox uniform. Unless the Pittsburgh Pirates come to them with a deal they can't refuse. I don't think it's going to happen. 3 Twitter notifications. I don't see anything. I thought it was going to be something interesting. You think Bregman's going to be next? If I was a betting man, I'd say something similar. Only person I went from the Pirates is Paul Skeens. A Cutter Willier package for a righty bat is interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's an interesting conversation. Yeah, Hunter Dobbins. I like Hunter Dobbins a lot. I think for next season, you've got yourself a really great sort of almost second rotation behind these guys, right? With Buehler coming in, Giolito in that 5th spot, there's a potential that your sort of depth, right, is at least by the end of the season, Crawford, Fitz, Priester, Criswell, Dobbins, right? That's essentially another rotation. I mean, it's obviously not as high of a rotation as the one you've got at the major league level, but things happen. Those are guys that can come in and legitimately give you a few series. Is Giolito going to be in the rotation at the start of the season? It kind of sounds like yes. I don't know, though. Honestly, I have no idea. Think Penrod can become a leverage lefty out of the pen in 2025? Yeah, I think they stretch him out as a starter for a little bit. Yeah, you're crazy, Laser. I think they start him out in the rotation or minor league rotation for a little bit and then sort of move him in there. Yeah, you've got a lot of options for the reason I do also kind of like this Walker Buehler 1 year deal is that even if it doesn't work out, you've got a whole lot of options coming in next year as well, right? Framber Valdez, you could re-sign Buehler, you could re-sign Giolito. You got a couple of guys that you just mentioned as well, right? You sit there and it's like, man, like even if this doesn't work out, Gallen, Cease, those are big names. How optimistic am I for a new season? I'm always optimistic for a new season. I'm a lot more optimistic now. I'll say that. I'm a lot more optimistic now. I do think it put the Red Sox in a really, really good place in terms of depth, in terms of upside. You know, they were under over 83.5 wins, I think, before the Buehler signing. I think they'll probably be at like 85.5, which is, hey, right? If those are the odds this year, last year was 77.5. You know what I mean? Those guys don't just make these up on the spot. They're usually pretty accurate. I agree, CH. I think you need a little bit. I could see Luis Guerrero starting the year in minor league baseball. Yeah, pretty awesome that Buehler's last 3 months were striking out Alex Verdugo, a New York Yankee, to win a World Series and then signing with the Red Sox. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Do we need to open a roster spot? Yeah, they do. So I don't know where they actually put them. I don't know who goes. Let's look at the 40-man. It'll probably be a pitcher, right? I mean, they could just... No, I don't think they can wait that long. When can you put players on the 60-day? The beginning of spring training, right? To the show we go. Close your ears. Chase Shugart. He's probably an option for a DFA. I don't think they DFA Winkowski. They won't DFA Dobbins. So Brian's safe. Bernardino, I would say, is probably pretty safe. Maybe. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. Chapman, definitely not. Crawford, probably not. Criswell, I would guess no, right? He's pretty versatile. Crochet, obviously. Fitz, no. Giolito, no. Hendricks, Houck. Kelly, I don't think so with Kelly. I think the one that stands out is Shugart. There's not really anyone in this. Maybe Mickey Gasper. I forgot they added Yost Nixon. I forgot they added him. Yeah, I'd say it's either Mickey or Shugart if we're just looking off of right here. I don't know. Boozer's gone, yeah, but they added Patrick Sandoval instead of him. Send down Romy. Oh, Mike, I didn't even know that was you. You lost your thing. I was like, oh my God, someone's imitating Mike. It'd be sweeter if Fitz works out. I agree. I don't think there's any reason to send down Romy yet. Would it require Devers to move from third, to be honest? No. Right? One, Teoscar wouldn't require that. And two, Bregman would be second base. They've already kind of established that, so. Gasper gone if we get Bregman? Yeah, probably. I would guess that's probably. Red Sox should trade Trevor Story, Franklin Arias, and Yoshida for Vladdy. The Blue Jays would never do that. It wouldn't make any sense for the Red Sox to do that. Where's Rafaela fit in? Right now he's your starting center fielder, right? Right now you got a center field or outfield of, say, Don in center, Duran probably in left, and Willier in right. And it's a really solid outfield. If anything changes, I could see them making him a utility player. Anything on Sasaki? No, we probably won't hear anything on Sasaki for a while. I would guess until after at least New Year's, I would guess. The mystery of who stole Mike's red seat. I know, man. Would you just lose it? Must be a glitch or something. I don't know. Mickey Gasper's a bum? Nah, Mickey Gasper isn't. He was really good in AAA. I just don't think he's supposed to be an everyday player. There he is. I suspect they'll keep Yoshida until the Sasaki negotiations. Nah, I don't think it's gonna have a whole lot to do with the Sasaki negotiations, if I'm being honest. Do you think Massa can get traded at the deadline with a good first half? Maybe. I'm not gonna. Mike, you found the chair. Let's go. Welcome back, Mike. Yeah, I could potentially see it, Kroll, if someone's really desperate for a bat, right? I think the Red Sox would jump at that opportunity. I guess it would depend on I suppose it would depend on where the Red Sox are at in that, like, are they truly adding? Would they be willing to, sort of add, subtract, add to make themselves better? I don't know. What are the chances are that we trade Tristan Casas away for Luis Castillo? Zero. Not a single. It was his storage next to Jack Riley Gillick. Yeah, versatility. I think they meant like in terms of rumors or reports or anything. I don't think we're going to hear anything. I don't think we're going to hear anything Sasaki related until after the New Year's, because I think things are going to start to heat up. I would guess the first week leading into the 15th, and then I think it's going to be all eyes on Sasaki for a little bit. Yoshida for Monty. But what do you do with Jordan Montgomery now, right? You've got basically 9 options for your starting rotation. What do you do with Jordan Montgomery now that you got Buehler? What autographed baseball cards on my wish list? I would say Christian Campbell. Probably the top. I got an Anthony. I think I got an Anthony. Yeah, I got an Anthony. I got a Marcelo. Yeah, I'd say it's Roman Anthony or Garrett Crochet. One of those two. Autograph Babe Ruth would be nice. Yeah, true. Just missing that one. My collection's complete. No, Burns isn't still in play. Corbin Burns is definitely out now. Alex Cora essentially said our rotation's complete today. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near close on Burns. Connor, thank you so much for becoming a member of the box seats. I just lost a fidget toy I was playing with. Sorry. I don't think they could give Bregman and Burns $180 million apiece. I think they could give Bregman $180. There's no way they give Corbin Burns $180. That wouldn't sign him anyways. I have a Gehrig. Yeah. It's actually right up there. We got Dickie Fitz. Makes you nervous between Gio and Sandoval and Buehler. That's 4 Tommy Johns between the two of them. Yeah, Sandoval's not really a factor for this year. I wouldn't totally consider anything about him. Giolito, sure. Buehler, I don't think you can really sit there and be like, oh, Buehler's in this pile, right? Buehler, went through the rehab process, had his half year in Major League Baseball. This is his full year, right? He's going to be essentially off the leash, and he's going to be playing for a deal. I don't think that's really a necessity to put him in the category of the Giolitos of the Sandoval specifically, because Sandoval isn't anywhere near Giolito, and Giolito really isn't anywhere near Buehler. And plus, Giolito didn't have Tommy John like Dill is pointing out here, right? He had the internal brace surgery, so it's an entirely different process as well. So it's sort of like you just sort of kind of lumping these guys into a group when it's really they're entirely different parts of where they're going to be. Sandoval isn't a factor. Giolito didn't get Tommy John, and Walker Buehler is now going to be a year removed from it. So I don't think that's really any sort of comparison, at least right now. When do I think Marcel Meyer gets called up? Probably July or August would be my guess if he gets called up this year. Kenley will probably end up with the Dodgers. Chris Martin, I could see back with the Red Sox. I could see that on like a 1-year cheap deal. That'd be great for the Red Sox bullpen, honestly. Seattle had an awful offseason, got too protective of their starters, lost the ability to get bats that they desperately need. And yeah, I agree. Seattle really, really screwed the pooch this offseason. Maybe they get some, maybe they get desperate and get something done. Is there a veteran pitcher in the league that hasn't had Tommy John surgery? About none of them. About none of them. Yeah, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anyone who's pitched in the league longer than 5 years who hasn't had Tommy John, I think, especially in a rotation. Yeah, I'd be shocked. If we can move Casas and get Arenado, I would be so fed up with this Red Sox team if they just move Casas to get Arenado. That's so dumb. Literally just Burns? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 35% of pitchers have had Tommy John. I wonder what percentage of those pitchers are in the rotation. Hey, Steven, you too, man. Have a good holiday season, my friend. Yeah, I think it's literally just Bregman or Burns in terms of potential, or a pitch away from having it. So that's a good way to look at it, George, I guess. Right? It's not exactly optimistic, but I don't have faith in Devers being our long third baseman. He's a liability. Come on. Yeah, but Arenado's not a long-term third baseman either. He's a 2-year guy. He has 2 years left on his contract. He's not going to be here for 10 years. I'm not saying Devers is our long-term solution at third base. You could wait a year and have Marcelo Meyer play your third base. But trading away Tristan Casas just simply to get Nolan Arenado, just simply so you can move Rafi off at third base, is a dumb idea. It is. What are my thoughts on catchers for the Red Sox? I don't think there's really... Carson Kelly, maybe. Could Campbell play third? Defensively, he could get to balls. Apparently, his arm, though. I haven't really looked into it. And in all honesty, after I'm done interviewing the players in the Woo Sox, I just watch the games, listen to the sound of the bat. But I'm certainly not a scouting expert, so I can't give you my expert opinion. But from people who are much smarter than me about these things, they don't trust Campbell's arm to be an everyday third baseman. So I'll defer to their opinion on that. Except for Craig Breslow. Hey, that's a good little rhyme you got there, Jack. Lionel, you as well, my friend. Have a happy Christmas, a happy holidays for those of you who don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah, so we'll probably just sort of housekeeping here. We're not going to stream the rest of the week. We're gonna take it off. You guys enjoy the holiday. We'll be back probably the new year, right? Because I think 7 days from now. What's the calendar? Next Wednesday is what? Is next Wednesday actually is it New Year's Day? Yeah, it is. So we'll probably do it that Thursday. I want Hoffman and righty bat. Yeah, I'd love that. Thoughts on second baseman for the Sox? Alex Bregman. Devers was a bad signing. Can't play defense, can't hit lefties. Merrily, terrible, miserable, awful take, man. We're trying to have a good time here, and you are just screwing it up with the worst baseball take I've ever seen. Yeah, they did, Joe. They did. What happened at second base with Campbell? Well, you would put Campbell in the outfield, pretty simply. You would find a place to put Willie or Abreu, which obviously is going to take some moving around, but Christian Campbell could absolutely play left field really well. I mean, you could kind of wait until Story goes down, right? Just put him at shortstop. You could sort of mix and match. You can mix and match Devers, DH, Bregman, third base, Campbell, second base. You could sort of do all of those at the same time. Yeah, I'm all aboard the Bregman train. I was sort of at the beginning of the offseason, I kind of wasn't, but it was because of the idea of having to move Rafi to first base and trading Tristan. If you can push all of the cards into working in one hand, right, it makes a lot of sense. Breslow should no longer be questioned. He's making super smart moves. They might not all work out, but he's taking the most potential shots. All the right moves. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Sox prospect says Campbell's a good defender. He is absolutely a good defender. Yeah. That doesn't mean he can play every position, though. Bregman is coming. I kind of believe he's going to, man. I really sit here and it just feels like the logical move. The question is, we sort of sat here and been like, man, that feels like the logical move here. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of reasons to like Bregman. There's a ton of reasons because you don't need. The other thing is, a lot of people are like, well, you need to have a guy in his prime. Why? Why do you need to have this guy in his prime? If he could still be productive past his prime, what does it matter? You've got every other position on your team with guys going into their prime. Duran, Devers, they're both going into their primes. You look at the rest of the lineup, right? You've got Grissom, he's coming up. He's young. You've got Campbell. You've got Anthony. You got Willier. You got Don. You've got Casas. You've got Wong. All these guys are entering their primes. They're going towards their primes. You don't need a guy to be at the peak of their career. You need a guy who's going to come in here, give you solid defense, not strike out a lot, and still give you some offensive production. Bregman does that. I don't know. I don't think it's a crazy idea to sit here and be like, you can utilize a guy who's a little bit past his prime and still be worth every single dollar you pay for him. And I think that's something to be said with Alex Bregman. I absolutely do. Right? And I actually, yeah, and the experience, you guys are talking about the experience. I think that's absolutely something that comes along with Bregman that I think they should have, right? They go and they get Buehler, and a big selling point of Buehler is his nickname in LA was Big Game Buehler, right? BGB. Because he would step up in big situations. He's been there. He's done that. He's won 2 World Series. Well, 1.5 World Series, depending on how you look at it, right? He's pitched really well in really big moments. That's the experience that these young guys need. Get that on the other side. Get Bregman. He's been in the playoffs since he was like 12, right? That's a perfect guy to have alongside of Campbell and Anthony. Him and Devers talking to these guys, talking to these Williers, talking to these Sedans, talking to these Casases. I love that idea. Is Justin Wilson legit? Kind of depends on how you want me to answer that. Statistically, no. Right? Statistically, he's all right. Yeah, don't mind the shirt. It's like 6 sizes too big. I don't even remember who got this. I think my sister got it for me. Statistically, no. But there is some stuff that I think is legit about his game. His off-speed stuff's legit, so... Would Arenado be willing to play second base? I doubt it. I don't know if you'd want Arenado at second. I think Bregman's more capable. $50 super chat. Matt, you already said Merry Christmas, man. You said Merry Christmas. No need for that. Thank you so much. That was way too kind. $50 super chat. He says Merry Christmas. He says Merry Christmas in a lot of different languages, I think specifically just to make me try and pronounce them. I'm going to give it a shot here. I'm going to give it a shot here. I don't think I'm going to pronounce a single one of them correctly. Merry Christmas, Guzar, Christglet, Jos Noel, Frohe, we not cheten. Frohe we not cheten. Yeah? That's all I got. Well, all you got is more than enough, Matt. That's way, way, way too kind of you. Thank you so much. Can we get some likes on that message, please? Save the hot takes till next year. All right, fine. Is Sandoval any good? Sandoval has the potential to be good. What up, Craig? I'm doing well. How you doing? It's Weinacten. Damn it. He can be good, right? Sandoval has a pretty solid ceiling. I don't know. Sandovo? What? What? Can Nixon Garcia catch? No, but his brother can, Johan Fran. And he's coming up. We'll see what he looks like this season. He's coming back from injury. He was really, really good before they went down. $100 super chat from Mr. Versatility. Unbelievably kind. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Make sure everyone in this chat right now likes that message, man. That is way too kind. Way too kind. And I think it's because Versatility wants me to try and pronounce whatever he just put in there. I think that's what he wants from me. Wisalish Swiyat. Yeah? I don't know. Either way, man, Versatility is unbelievably way too kind. That was way too much money, man. Thank you so much. I hope you and your family have a very happy holidays, Versatility. I really do. Do you think Duran's the best left fielder in the league, Corbin? He should be. Statistically, he should be, right? I guess it depends. Not very close, but it's Merry Christmas in Polish. Duh. All right, so what would it be? We soli sawat. Number one priority, the Sox have to get rid of Yoshida. There's nowhere for him to play. And he's going to block a lot of the young kids. I'm going to be honest with you, I think they tried. I think they tried to get rid of Yoshida, and I don't think they've been successful, if we're being honest. If we're being honest, I don't think they were successful in that. $100 is way too much money, Versatility. Stop giving me so much money. Genuinely, I just sit here and talk, man. I don't deserve that much money, guys. It truly, truly blows my mind. It truly does. I'm going to see spring training March 1st to the 5th. What players should be in the lineup, you think? Let me look. That might be the first week the regulars get in there. Let me look. First through 5th, it'll be your third week. It'll be going into the third week of spring training. Yeah, you'll probably get some regulars. I don't think it'll be the big names, though. I don't think it'll be the big names. I think it'll be like maybe you'll get a Casas, maybe. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Carl. I agree with you. I think the Red Sox could have. We actually talked about it. Do something nice for Jess. I will. I'll put that directly towards her Christmas present. Thank you so much, Versatility. 22 months, too. What are we doing? 2 years, basically, as a member of Red Sea Radio. This is not Versatility's stream. Versatility and Matt now on this stream. After the Buehler move, it formed an alliance with some Dodgers fan with the sole purpose to choke the Yankees. Well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Even the camera agrees. Hi, Craig. Yoshida can hit? Yeah, Yoshida can hit. I don't think Yoshida being in this lineup really sort of eliminates you from being a competitive baseball team. I think what people are saying is you sit there and you just don't know sort of what it's going to mean in terms of the younger players on this team. That could be a bigger impact, right? But the problem is you don't want those guys at DH anyways. You want those guys on the field. So I don't know. Thoughts on the prospect we got for Boozer? Video tomorrow. We're talking about Boozers. We're talking about the Boozer signing or the Boozer trade. We're talking about two other signings that the Red Sox made for depth. We're going to talk about those in tomorrow's video. But Tristan, real quick, I will say, I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to talk about it when we get there. Really, the Red Sox and Yankees are trading with each other more than they used to. Yeah, I think there was, I just think Craig Breslow doesn't really care about the. I just think Craig Breslow doesn't really care about the. Logistics is the wrong word. Is it the right word? Logistics the right word? I don't know. But yeah, it is kind of interesting. I noticed Luzardo got traded finally. Wasn't it? Yeah. I'm not really concerned with Luzardo. I wanted Luzardo real bad for a while. I don't hate Luzardo. The taboo. Yeah, taboo was the word I was looking for. The sort of taboo, right? Everyone's like, ooh, when you make a trade like that with the Yankees. I don't think that's really there anymore. You know, we talk about sort of the rivalry with the Yankees, and it's still there for sure. And I actually think with the young crop the Red Sox have coming up, I think the rivalry is going to renew itself a little bit, right? Because you do have, the Yankees crop is a little bit different, but you do have guys like Luis Gil, Austin Wells, Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, right? All of a sudden, you're going to be looking at two teams here who have sort of their faces, right, with Rafi and Judge, and then you've got solid rotations. Now you got Crochet versus what's his face. I wanted to say Clay Holmes. That's not right. Garrett Cole, right? What up, Dame Time? And all of a sudden, these guys, especially if they start going like this, clashing when they meet up, I could see it. I could really, really see them sort of getting themselves back into a true rivalry. Mike, don't make me pronounce that, dude. Yeah, it's hilarious, CH. The fact that they did that is so funny to me. Oh, God. I'm Sujueligo Nuego Roku. Please. I'm not going to pronounce any other foreign language words in here. One, because I sound like an idiot. But two, I could be saying whatever in whatever language. I'm not doing that. Definitely a bad defender. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's definitely a DH. I don't think the Red Sox are hurt with I don't think the Red Sox are hurt with having him in a lineup. What'll make it a rivalry is that we both fight for a division. Yeah, I agree. I think this team right now, you add in Bregman or a Teoscar, this team's a division contender. $10 super chat from Ryan. Thank you so much, Ryan, man. Really appreciate it. 3 in there. Third super chat in here. Can we get some likes on that? Hey, man, thank you so much for watching this year. It's been an incredible year, guys. It's been an incredible year, so thank you. And then we get $5 super chat from Mike. Happy New Year in Polish. Brother, I can't pronounce that. Okay. Shizkazes Luego Noego Roku. Huh? Not bad. Not bad. Do I think the chances of a Yoshi trade increases as Bats free agency sign? Teams have been desperate this offseason. You know what? I don't think that's an entirely inaccurate thing to say. You can always use another bat. W sounds like V. All right, we'll try it one more time. Shizkazes Levego Novego Roku. Huh? So I'm out on Grissom? No, I'm not out on Grissom. I think Grissom's a great player. Here's what I've been saying, Daryl. Grissom's a question mark. There are a lot of question marks with this Red Sox offense still, right? And they're not bad question marks. Will Duran be a top 10 player war-wise again? Oops, sorry, guys. War-wise again this season. Or will he be more of a top 50 player, right? I don't think that's a bad thing to put. Can Rafi stay healthy? I don't think that's a bad thing to have. Where are you going to fit Christian Campbell, Roman Anthony? Not a bad thing to have. Tristan Casas, I think, is a bit of a question, right? But again, you talk about what his floor and his ceiling are. As long as he stays healthy, not a bad question mark to have. The problem with this is if you want to be a division contender, somewhere, somehow, you're going to have to eliminate some of these questions. And it's not because Grissom, I don't think, is a bad player, or I think is a bad player, or because I think Grissom's not worth it. It's just that if you have the opportunity to eliminate some of these questions, at some point you're going to have to make sacrifices. And I think that's what you may have to do with this conversation here, right? And maybe it's one of those things where Christian Campbell starts in the minors and Vaughn Grissom's in left field or something like that. I think he got some reps in the outfield last season. Maybe that's something they have a conversation about. I don't know. Don't hurt myself. Yeah, if I have to pronounce one more foreign language, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, I might blow a gasket. Not on purpose, not because I'm mad, but because my brain doesn't work that way. Corbin, would I like to trade Bayo, Yoshida, Crawford for bullpen guys? No. Worried that Duran's 2024 is a fluke, and first of all, even if he's an average leadoff hitter, you're still in a good spot. But second of all, you're not really looking at it like a fluke here, right? Because at this point, he's now on 2 seasons in a row of being a legit major. You're talking about a trend, right? You talk about 2023. He didn't play as many games, so he didn't get the superstar all-star title that he did this year, which he 100% deserved, by the way. But he was on pace to do the exact same thing he did last year with less home runs. Maybe a little bit less doubles, or triples, sorry. But he was about to hit the same amount of doubles. He had a very similar OPS to this year to last year. And if you take a look at the 2 years, you're talking about now 2 seasons, right? 288 average, 343 on base percentage, 49 slug, a 126 OPS plus, an 832 OPS. He's 82 doubles in 262 games. That to me is a trend more than it's a fluke. Do we need more lefties in the rotation? No. I don't think so, because next year you'll have 2 lefties, right? How would I rate this offseason if they made no more moves? Would extending Garrett Crochet be considered into that? Would extending Garrett Crochet be considered into that? Because then I'll be able to answer your question. Hoffman or Tanner Scott? Right now, I'd say Hoffman. I think Hoffman would be a better overall fit for what the Red Sox are looking for, but I'll tell you what, I'm not exactly going to be pissed. I'm not exactly going to be pissed. How ballsy's Buehler? I kind of like that Buehler was like, nah, give me the 1-year deal. I want to prove myself and go get that money. It does include extending Crochet. Then I think it's a high B, low A offseason. Yeah, he'll get paid. I'm not worried about Crochet getting paid or not. I'm worried about him staying here past 2026. Right? I don't know. To be honest with you, versatility, the more I'm reading about it and like with the Garrett Crochet conversations he's had with media, it kind of sounds like he's trying to bet on himself. I'm wondering if they give him a half season and throw him a bag. You know what I mean? We'll see. I mean, he was pretty open to extension before he got here. We'll see. If we miss on Bregman, who's next, I would go Teoscar, and then I'd go Santander, and then I'd hit the trade market. See who's available trade-wise. Maybe you could flip someone for a Massa. I don't know. Backyard baseball for sure, Aaron. Who do I reckon has a better chance of bouncing back, Goldie or Story? Well, Goldie's what, 37, 38? How old is he? I mean, Paul Goldschmidt's a Hall of Famer, but... Or I guess he's on the verge. Yeah, he's 37. I'm gonna take Story. I'm gonna take Story for sure. Sandoval or Santander at 225 against lefties or righties. He also didn't strike out a whole lot. Was able to get on base and hit a ton of home runs. So, how do you view our Breslow Bailey pitching development so far? I mean, it's good, man. You got four pitching prospects, starting pitching prospects in your top 10 prospects in the league. You saw jumps from Crawford. You saw jumps from Houck. You saw the bullpen put together. I don't know. Taylor Ward would be fine, in my opinion. I wouldn't hate it. In fact, Taylor Ward would probably be solid. I just want something bigger. Give me a bigger addition. You know what I mean? Like, give me something with a little bit of funk to it. Although I guess Taylor Ward would give me a bit of a funk, huh? Trade for Cedric Mullins. Well, one, he's not, and two, he's a lefty, Mike. You don't need a lefty. I think he definitely did, Jack. I think he definitely did. Taylor Ward. Yeah, Ward had a good season, man. He's really a solid player. 2.3 WAR, 111 OPS plus, 25 homers. Can give you some outfield, can play a little infield. How was he against righties? Or lefties? He was really good against lefties this year. 325 average, 377 on base percentage, 396 slug. Had 4 homers off of him. Does strike out a bit, but I wouldn't hate it. It doesn't give me that oomph that I'm looking for, you know? Bregman to Boston, I'm hoping. We're hoping. That's the next step, right? You get him done. I think this team's a legit contender. I really do. If the Sox sign one more, they're not going to sign another starter. The rotation's set, man. And I think the rotation's in a good spot. I don't think they need to add one. I don't think they need to add anyone else. I think they're in a really good spot with their rotation. So I'm going to keep it there. All I want for Christmas is a righty bat. Yeah, that'd be great. Did I start this at 7 accidentally? Oh, no, I'm an idiot. I'm reading the time wrong. Soto has to be the MVP for the next 15 years to get value. I don't know. What do I think the Red Sox will do with Cooper Criswell? I think they'll stash him in AAA as depth for their rotation. Is there a right-handed catching upgrade trade that could come out of nowhere? It's going to be catching's such a premium, man. Catching is such a premium. I don't know if you could just go out and trade for one. Maybe that's sort of the area where they look to move a Wilyer Abreu or maybe even a Cutter Crawford for a big name catcher. I don't know, right? I think that's a question mark for sure. But I think if you get a defensive catcher, I think you'll be fine in there. James McCann was the name that they've been linked to, yeah. I don't love that now, especially after they didn't sign Burns. Any news on Luis Perez and when he'll be back? Yeah, probably midway through 2025, I would guess. Interview my dude Cooper Criswell. See what I can do. Trade for Vladdy, re-sign him for $350 million. Vladdy would laugh at that. He already denied a $350 million contract from the Blue Jays. If the Mets win 2 World Series with Soto, that doubles their total rings. I'd probably seen as worth it. Yeah, I would assume so. Twins, Duran, and Vasquez are available. Yeah, cool. We'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be the goal, but I don't know if they have no reason to trade either of those guys. I don't think so. Hey, Merry Christmas to you as well, Gary. Vladdy will be, I would guess Vladdy would be $450 million, if we're being honest. I would guess he'd be $450 million. Red Sox should reunite Vasquez's depth. I wouldn't hate it. I don't know. Vladdy to the Mets, God. Not if they're re-signing Pete Alonso, which it looks like. I'm really hoping they re-sign Pete Alonso. Take him out of there. All right, folks. I did want to do today a little bit quicker. Roll us into the holiday season. I feel like we did a good job today, folks. Broke down the Buehler deal, talked about what the Red Sox should be doing next after that, talked about some hypotheticals. I think we had a lot of fun today. I mean, listen, maybe it's not the $300 million player that people wanted it to be, but I want to leave you with this on Buehler. Sometimes you don't need to get a $300 million player to get a really, really good player, right? You just don't have to do it every time. The Red Sox got a good deal on this. It makes them immediately competitive in the AL and the AL East. Combine that with Garrett Crochet, who I do think this should be, now that you signed Buehler to a short-term contract, Garrett Crochet should be the guy that you're focusing spending that pitching money on. Give him money, make him a Red Sox for the next 6-7 years, and that would truly be a really solid offseason. That's sort of what I wanted to leave it with. Obviously, I want to leave it with a very happy holidays to all of you, to you, your loved ones, your friends, your families, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it may be. I really hope you enjoy it this time of year. I don't think I'll see you guys live, at least, until 2025. There are going to be videos throughout this week. There probably won't be one on Christmas Day unless, obviously, something insane happens. Then I'll find a way to sneak away and try to have my girlfriend not kill me for the next 3 weeks. But outside of that, should be regularly scheduled programming for this channel. Hopefully, right, depending on weather and whatnot. I think there's a storm coming in, so we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy the signing. And Red Sox, listen, if you're taking wish lists, if you're being Santa this winter, I want Alex Bregman, I want Jeff Hoffman under my tree Christmas Day. Outside of that, guys, we do this once a week. So if you want to consider subscribing, we do this once a week. We talk Red Sox content every single day outside of Sunday, whether that be trade rumors, whether that be proposals, whether that be signings, whatever you want it to be. We've got content on it on this channel. Make sure you guys hit the like video if you want as well. Oh, yeah, fiance. Thank you, Joey. Whew, almost screwed me there. All right. That's I lost my train of thought, so we're just gonna end it there. Oh, like the video. It helps out a ton. Means a lot to me. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you enjoying the Christmas season, enjoying the holiday season, and of course, now very happily, I think, in the red seats.